I have a quick question for Derrick. Derrick, can you stay around for like 2 minutes?
Sure.
Okay, this is a question. Readers out there might appreciate this. I haven't had too much time to play video games because I'm bouncing around so many different jobs right now. So I can't, like, when I sit down to play video games, I want like 2 to 3 hours to like really get into it.
Yeah.
I don't have that time, but I have like tons of 30-minute pockets. So I've been reading way more because it's like I can just sit down and keep going.
Read
So Derrick, I know you're a big reader.
Sure.
One author I've never really been into that I'm going to start getting into is Stephen King.
Okay.
There's a lot of Stephen King I want to get into. I'm curious, what are some like essential Stephen Kings that I should check out? I've seen like nearly all the film adaptations, so I don't plan on like, I'm going to read Misery.
Right. Let me break it down for you.
Yeah. I'm going to take this.
I'm going to break it down for the world.
This
is something I've been talking about.
I'm going to look at the chat too in case anyone's going through it. But
I love Stephen King, as does everybody. He's super successful.
Yeah.
The man is fucking overrated. He is so fucking overrated. Stephen King fans, you're hating me right now, but I'm going to say something and you're going to agree with me. This is every Stephen King book ever. Oh, something in this town is pure evil. It takes a form that is horrifying. But you didn't know. This whole town is evil. Everybody in this town has a dark secret from their past. And I'm going to go through each of them one by one and tell you why. When you put them all together, they manifested the evil. That is like every Stephen King story. He goes so far into world building.
That's what's like. I want to read like these bigger books, like like The Stand and shit like that. And it's like 1,000 pages. And it is 1,000 pages.
He goes so far into world building that every movie that's an adaptation of a Stephen King book adapts the unique thing about that story. And then cuts out the world building because, I mean, honestly, a lot of his books are set in like the same town or the same state, and the same characters show up in different stories. In a way, it's kind of cool because over his, however many books he has.
It's like 3 a year.
Yeah, fucking hundreds of books. Amongst all his books, there almost is another alternate Stephen King dimension that you can dive into.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, do you want to go into the Stephen King dimension? Do you want to spend so much time learning about fictional characters and what their mom did to them when they were a child that affected them in high school, which is what happened to them and why they married the person when they were 20 and why that person actually turned out to be evil and ruined their... It's like... It's a lot to take in. So, to answer your question, personally, Stephen King does short stories, and I think that is
the short story
the best way to get into Stephen King, and I recommend Skeleton Crew.
Is that the one that has the jaunt in it?
That's the one that is from the mid-'80s, and it kind of is this collection of great classic Stephen King from his prime, late 70s, early 80s.
Yes. Good old cocaine Stephen King.
Exactly. Drugged up, I was doing acid, snorting cocaine, and writing short stories. I recommend Skeleton Crew.
I wrote this one in 30 seconds.
Yeah. Personally, I really liked The Green Mile. I read that, and I liked the movie when it came out. I like his kind of based in reality, more like supernatural, not necessarily like horror stuff. Almost like on the edge of fantasy and sci-fi. So, yeah, that's what I recommend. Skeleton Crew, short stories.
Is Dark Tower worth getting into?
That's a big thing.
Okay,
yeah.
Dark Tower is a very big example of what I was talking about. Where the first book is called The Gunslinger, and it's this cool fantasy western. But then it goes on, and it took him 20 years to write the whole story. And I'm pretty sure by book 5, it is like he is a main character in the books as the god of the universe.
Yeah,
he's referencing,
I think so too.
He's referencing stuff in the real world, and there's portals from the real world to the Dark Tower world. And again, it is like, okay, so what's the story here?
Yeah.
So
I know people who love that.
It's funny. I specifically wrote down. I was doing research and I read Dark Tower 1 through 4 are good. The last 3 books, 5 through 7, he like rushed out. And so
really?
that.
The problem and the beauty of Stephen King is the world building.
Yeah.
And that's the main thing I feel like. And you never know that going in. You think like, ooh, horror master. He develops crazy monsters, and that's what he's known for. He builds worlds, and that's what he loves to do. And like, if you want to go and spend a week on vacation in another world, read a Stephen King book.
I was gonna say if you want to read like a full book or whatever, just whatever stands on its own. The Stand.
That's what.
Yeah.
Okay, here's the other thing.
The Stand or It. People
It,
say
yeah,
that It
those
is a
two.
modern horror classic.
And the original pressing of The Stand is like 900 pages, and then in the 90s they released The Stand Uncut, and it's like 1,500 pages.
Yeah.
Do you remember which version?
That's the one that I read.
The like full version?
That's the one that I read, but I don't. I know people who love it and say it's good either way.
Yeah.
So maybe read the shorter one. I don't
Okay,
know.
cool. Yeah, my list is like I'm gonna check out They're coming out with the Dark Tower movie next year with Matthew McConaughey and Idris Elba. Fuck yeah! I'll still check out 1 and see if I want to go further.
Mm-hmm.
The Stand. I heard Salem's Lot is good. That's like a classic.
Never read that
One of my favorite books in terms of just like a fictional book that I've ever read is it's not just him on his own, but it was Richard Bachman or who's the
Richard Bachman is Stephen
It's his
King.
alias. Yeah.
No,
I forget the other name of the guy, but
Is it The Talisman?
The Talisman. Yeah.
Mhm.
I love it. I love The
Talisman?
Talisman. Yeah.
See, but for me, I don't want to dive into a 600-page book. I don't even want to dive into a 300-page book.
Sure.
That's why I recommend.
If you're going for that,
I recommend Skeleton Crew.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think The Mist is in Skeleton Crew.
Oh, that's
and it's
cool. I'll check that
maybe
out.
like 100 pages, 120 pages. It's like a short novella.
Yeah.
Everything after that is 10 to 20 pages.
Oh, fuck yeah.
So it's like a small book and then a bunch of short stories.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, I think that's easier to dive in. I really like The Talisman, but it's like fucking Lord of the Rings level.
Yeah, that's what I was planning to do. Is
Saga.
like, I also have like Cell, which I bought forever ago, and that's like 300 pages. I'm gonna start with the smaller stuff and then see.
Cell sucks.
Yeah. Really? I read half of it, and I was like, all right, and then I stopped reading.
That's like later Stephen. That's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
early 2000s Stephen King.
I bought it. That came out like right before the flood of all the zombie shit, like 2006, like right when
Yeah.
that was like hot. So I was like, oh yeah, and then
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was him, I feel like, being like, wow, zombies are really popular, and I've never done zombies. I'm going to do it.
yeah. Eli Roth was supposed to adapt it forever ago, and that never happened. But yeah, so I'm gonna check all that